questions are as simple as they look, especially when one option just doesn't belong. In today's session, we are cracking the code of the odd man out topic, basically, with smart tricks and sharp thinking. No more guesswork, only logic, patterns, and a few game-changing tricks. Get ready to spot the misfit, that too within few seconds, and also that will help you to stay one step ahead. So I welcome you to this session in which you gain mastery over odd man out. Let's get started. So as you can very well see, Hack 1 talks about spotting the semantic outlier. What does that mean? It is based on meaning-based elimination technique. Okay. Now you need to identify the core group first of all. And once you've identified the core group, then you need to find out the misfit. Now here I have intentionally taken the example of certain words because when we break down something, we should always break it down in its elemental level. That kind of makes us easy. It easy for us to understand a topic. Like you can see it here. The word that belongs to a completely different semantic field is obviously the odd one out. In this case, cow, goat, horse, sheep, mango. You already know that mango does not really make the cut because all four are animals. Okay, so you need to identify what theme do these four are actually following. Similarly, in a question based on odd man out, 4 of the sentences will follow the same theme, but one of them will be digressing from that theme. So first of all, you need to identify the dominant category. You need to look for hidden subcategories. There is a good chance that there might be hidden subcategories. And you need to be very, very aware of trap words, because trap words, they sound similar but have very different meanings, right? Then moving to the second hack, which is based on connotation, positive or negative connotation, whether the writer has spoken about a topic in only a positive way, or whether the writer actually criticizes or talks about a certain thing in a very negative light. So odd word or odd sentence can be hidden in the tone, as you can see. Now, once you have identified 4 of the, group, 4 of the members of the group that follow the same connotation, you will automatically understand which one does not fit the, context. In this case, brave, bold, valiant, and daring, all 4 of them have positive connotation. It actually means somebody who is fearless, somebody who is ready to put up a fight, right? But on the other hand, there is this word reckless. Reckless means somebody who is careless, doesn't really give much thought, has nothing to do with being brave or bold. Okay, so once you have categorized the sentences in positive, negative, or neutral tone, things kind of become easy for us. So you also need to watch for false friends, because false friends are definitely going to be there to actually, distract you in a way. So another important thing that you need to recognize or acknowledge in this case is the intensity. That also matters, because if the writer has been speaking about a certain topic very intensely, we need to eliminate the option which actually talks about the same thing in a very casual, lukewarm manner. Okay, so intensity, severity, that is something that we need to look out for. Next, hack 3, which is based on grammar and parts of speech. Now this could be the structural odd one out. Okay, there could be mismatch in grammar, and that's why the answer would be that only. So here they have given you examples like quickly, slowly, bright, swiftly, rapidly. 4 of the words actually are a part of adverbs, but bright is an adjective in this case. Similarly, you might come across sentences that might be going in the same tense, but suddenly there is a shift in tense. Okay, so identify the part of speech, identify the grammatical structure, look for ly endings like in adverbs, watch for gerunds and infinitives. They can definitely help you guide better when you're trying to navigate a passage. Then degree of intensity filter. We have already discussed degree of intensity and what a crucial role it plays. Now words lie on a scale. What does that mean? The word that breaks the intensity pattern is the odd man out. Similarly, sentences. All 4 sentences might be of the same degree, but one of them might be the odd man out. In this case, warm, hot, scorching, tepid. All 4 of them actually are different degrees of hotness. But cold is I would say something that breaks the flow, breaks the intensity scale, or breaks the intensity cycle in this case. So you need to map that intensity high, low, or vice versa. Spot the direction break in the pattern. The writer might be speaking about something in a highly critical manner. Suddenly he cannot really be positive about it. Okay, so the direction break is something that we need to be very aware of, and this is something that works really well for emotions and temperature words. Okay, in every passage there are certain emotions of the writers exhibited. There are also as you can see, temperature words. He might use certain words with great intensity and certain words with not so much intensity, right? So you need to identify the degree of intensity. The next hack is about elimination by association. That means you need to identify the context and you need to see whether the sentences are in coherence with each other. So find the word that does not really fit the common usage. And this is the fastest method for timed exams like CAT. So you can see here grim, bleak, dreary, gloomy, vivid. Now first four words actually form a group, right? Now there's this one word vivid which is not really a part of this group. So something which is grim is sad, dark, gloomy, and when it comes to vivid means bright, I would say, combination of colors, something which is I would say resplendent in a way. So which word does not describe the same thing? You need to identify that. Which sentence does not describe the same thing? So use sentence substitution there. Okay, ask yourself the question, which one feels like a stranger in this very paragraph? And if you start using this technique, automatically things are going to be very easy going for you. So let's have a quick recap. You have this hack cheat sheet. The first one is a semantic outlier, which means different themes. 4 of the sentences would have the same theme, 1 of them would have a separate theme. Then parts of speech. This is basically about grammar rules. So you need to be careful about grammatical, shifts. And if you see such shifts, that means there is a structural mismatch. Then we have intensity filter. That means wherever you feel that the intensity seems to break the flow, that is basically your odd man out. Then we have connotation check, whether there's a tone mismatch. The writer was speaking about something in an angry way and suddenly you see a very mellowed down version of the same subject. So that cannot be that can obviously be your answer, and that is the odd man out. Etymology and roots, again different origin. You need to see which 4 of them can be clubbed together as a group. Elimination by association, which is a collocation mismatch, which means that how many of these sentences can be associated with each other, and one of them that does not fit that association is your mismatch, right? Now here we have a question which has been directly picked from PYP. This has been taken from CAT 2025 slot 1 VArC. I want you to read it and I want you to find out the odd man out. So I'm going to give you some time here to go through it. I hope everything is visible. All right, I guess we are ready to see the odd man out in this case, but first we'll try to understand what's going on in the passage, right? So here it is basically talking about how freedom is a complicated idea, right? But one specific type of freedom, that is freedom over death, basically choosing when and how we die, is very, very important. Over time, due to technology, social changes, we now have more control over death. And because of this, assisted dying is seen as a natural extension of that freedom. So that is what the passage is all about. Okay, you need to understand now the correct flow. So the opening statement in this case would be obviously option 5, because that kind of introduces us to the statement, to the premise. Freedom is a notoriously complex and contested philosophical notion. We can see it here. So we are setting the stage by using this statement. Then we move to the second one, right? But I believe that a type of freedom we can call freedom over death, that is a freedom in which we shape the timing and circumstances of how we die, should be central to this conversation. This introduces freedom over death. Okay, and then we see an extension of that in option 3. Legalizing assisted dying is but a further step. So we are talking about a further step, which is an extension, right? Which gives us more control over death. And then we move to the fourth one. Okay, fourth step basically, and that is sentence. Which one? I think I missed the first one. I think the correct sequence should be fifth. Then we'll have second, then we'll have 1, and then we'll have 3. So developments both technological as well as socio-cultural have afforded us far greater freedom. So this is an extension, and then eventually we get to the third statement, which is a conclusion with implication, the consequence. So legalize assisted dying is also equivalent to extension to that particular freedom. So the odd man out in this case is obviously the fourth statement. Can you see it? Many people endorse through their opinions or their choices our freedom over death, encompassing a right to medical assistance and hastening our deaths. Now the thing is, why fourth is the odd man out? Because first of all, it breaks the flow of the argument. It does not introduce, define, support or conclude the main argument first of all. It adds external validation. What does that mean? It's seeking people's opinions instead of strengthening the logic. And it cannot be seamlessly clubbed together with any other option anywhere. So it is basically extra with no structural purpose, right? So the entire paragraph is building a philosophical argument by the author, but sentence 4 suddenly shifts to many people think, which is a public opinion. So that's why the fourth one is our answer in this case. Let's move to the next one. This has been taken from slot 2, CAT 2025, as you can see, right? Go ahead. Are we ready to check out the paragraph? Have you found out the odd man out in this case? So let's talk about the next one. The paragraph actually is a very interesting one. It describes a comedian, Taurus, as you can see, right? And also his performance style. So he has a very quirky, almost childlike appearance and a casual speaking style. His show involves, visual elements like drawings, then overhead camera, all of those things. He also explores weird abstract ideas like what orange color sounds like in an engaging way. So in simple terms, he looks eccentric, somebody who is unusual. He talks casually, his show is visually creative, and his ideas are weird but interconnected and also entertaining. So now we'll try to build the right paragraph for ourselves. So let's see what could be our opening statement. I think the best sentence that can open it for us is fourth one. Like his previous show, My Favorite Shapes, this is an hour of sit-down comedy aided by an overhead. So if we talk about this one, camera which relays Taurus's theories. Fourth one, right? This opens it. Talks about the show setup. Sit down comedy plus visuals. That has been encapsulated in this one. Then we talk about the next statement, which is the first one. More information about Taurus. Right? So what he looks like on the stage, sporting a copper colored pixie cut and a pair of pink feather antlers. Taurus himself resembles a child's doodle. Okay, so his appearance has been discussed here. Then the next statement talks about his speaking style, right? Which one is that? It is the second one. His casual millennial delivery peppered with ums and ahs makes surreal concepts sound like items on a brunch menu. Okay, something that you see on a menu of a hotel where you're going for brunch. Then the next statement describes his content, which is sentence 5. His inquisitive mind, very curious mind, produces interconnected ideas about Catholicism, blandness of picture, and what orange sounds like. So all those things put together will give us the right paragraph. So the right order is 4, 1, 2, 5 in this case. So automatically you know what the odd man out is in this case. The odd man out is the third statement. Why? Because we are talking about though he may have failed so far in his color scouting mission, he hasn't yet found a new one, he admits. This hour leaves you tickled pink. Now the thing is, when you read this particular statement, you see a problem. Okay, it suddenly becomes a review or a judgment. It does not go with the idea of description which is going on in the rest of the sentences. And when we try to place this statement at the beginning, this has no intro context. In the middle, breaks the descriptive flow. Even if you try to put it at the end, it feels like a conclusion, but rest of the para isn't really evaluative. It is not really reviewing anything. So that's why 4, 1, 2, 5 kind of fits together perfectly. And the answer to this is third one. So previously we had 4 as our answer as the odd man out. Here we have third as the odd man out. Right? Now, I would like to introduce you to our CAT DIY kit, which is subject-wise distributed, as you can see. So if you're somebody who is weak at VArC or probably QA or DILR, and if you don't want to purchase the entire course, you can simply just pick it up, pick the subject wise division and start preparing. The best thing about this course is it is flexible. If you are somebody who is a working professional, or if you are somebody who has a really busy college schedule, now this one is for you because it has recorded lectures, complete study material, and sectional and topic tests. As you can see, this is priced at 5,499. Similarly, this is for DILR and this is for QA. So that's it from my side, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something really vital to your preparation, and I hope you start implementing it when you solve odd man out questions. Until the next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.